Alright, am I live? Let me just verify this real quick. Um, go into this. Alright, I am. So with that said, hello everyone. Kind of eventful, kind of late crash into the party. I had some stuff going on, and I kind of got tired and dozed off a little bit. But weather knows no sleep, so here we are. We do have tornado warnings in place, and let me just update something real quick before I further jump into this. We're gonna go and do this. Edit the title real quick. Um, I think that should pop up right now. All right. All right, and that should pop up. There we go. So, rolling along the bottom of your screen, we do have, I got that down at the bottom of your screen, we do have our warnings ticker right now. That includes all the warnings that we have across the state. We have two primary tornado warnings in place that are radar indicated right now. One of them is a little bit more concerning. We'll get to that one second in just a second. This is the one in the metro here. This is, goodness, eastern Montgomery County, northwest, far northern. I mean, like the far northern tip of Prince George's County, and then eastern Howard County as well, with this storm that is near Skaggsville and near Burtonsville right now. That's heading up towards Columbia, and that is heading up towards Ellicott City as well. Rotation on this is there. Not the most impressive, but there. So if you are in Skaggsville right now, if you are in Columbia, this is heading in your direction. You need to be heading to the lowest floor of an interior building, the most interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. So don't want to be in the car, don't be in the mobile home, something that's fixed to a concrete slab and the foundation. PG County just got updated with this one as well. I'm gonna look at some of the wording.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
So this one will expire for PG County. So this particular warning is expiring, but at the northern portion, the far northern tip. But this one's really having me concerned. This one near Rosaryville, no debris yet, but man, oh man, the rotation on this one is rather strong. Ooh, that is a problem. Let me see a couple things. I'm gonna see if I can pull up. Let's do. I want to see if there's any cameras. Let's do interactive. There we go. This is gonna be right over Rosaryville. If we do have a tornado in progress. Now let me just check a different color table. I don't see anything too crazy for right now, but we're gonna have to really watch this thunderstorm near Rosaryville, near Clinton right now as well. But it's right over Rosaryville, right on 301. So, man, that's a little bit of a strong rotation that we have right now. Let me just. Do we have any cameras in Rosaryville? No. Okay. Closest one we have is 301 at 5. That's looking south. 5 looking north. I don't see anything too crazy right now on the cameras that would concern me for right now. But we'll watch this very closely. This is a storm. I think they're dropping this warning right here. They're sending that warning out. But this one right here is staying. Okay, it's just moved out the area. So that was just the update from the Weather Service in Sterling about that. It'd be a miracle. We might have a tornado on the ground right now near Lantry. I hate to say it. We may very well have a tornado in progress right now, or at least has touched down in Lantry, Prince George's County, and that'd be right over Rosaryville. It's 1941. So, the tilt, the rotation, that may be off just a little bit, but we may have had a tornado touchdown in Rosaryville with this storm. And that is moving north, I believe. Let me just verify this real quick. Northeast at 20. So there it is. It is right over Rosaryville right now. That's where this rotation is. If you're in Bristol, and the tornado watch just got updated, by the way. So let me just go out real quick. But if you're in southern Anne Arundel County, if you're in Wason's Corner, if you're in Lothian or Greenock or Churchton, Galesville, Harwood, Tracy's Landing, there's a camera not too far from Tracy's Landing that we may have a chance to use at some point down the line if this does become a problem. Now, actually, I'm going to pull that up separately just to see if we got anything. This would be very interesting if we do. This is in Tracy's Landing and Deal if we do have this camera working. I hope it does, because that would give us a pretty good view into this storm. Let me do something real quick. If you hear a fan in the background, forgive me to keep this for the computer here, but try to turn this off just to give a little pressure off the heating. But man, that is a potent thunderstorm that could very well be producing a tornado right now in the Marlton area. And nothing on that Tracy's Landing camera right now. It's looking out across Herring Bay, so it's looking in the opposite direction. So we're not going to get any view of that particular storm from the camera that I'm trying to scout at this moment. Let's go into this. Potentially, but I have my doubts. And a new tornado warning just got dropped. This is going to be for southeastern Prince George's County, southern Anne Arundel County with this storm. Let me get the latest warning from the National Weather Service in Sterling. It has to be hot off the wire right now. It has to be. By the way, that tornado warning up in Montgomery County, Howard County, that goes until 8 p.m., just so you know. And the storm is just starting to pick up here in the metro, and we got a big line that's getting ready to cross into the Potomac River Valley right now. Severe thunderstorm warnings plastered along the Potomac River, basically from central Montgomery County all the way up into Washington County right now, and far eastern Allegheny. So if you are from Hancock to Williamsport to let's say Harpers Ferry, Sandy Hook, Brunswick, all the way down to Falls of Rough, and then pretty much down to near Poolsville and Potomac, you have a severe thunderstorm warning in place that is including for 60-mile-per-hour winds and potential QLCS spin-up tornadoes down the line. So please be mindful of that. And there's our new tornado warning. And it is radar indicated. I was just trying to get information on that, and there it is, hot off the wire. Tornado warning for South Central Anne Arundel County, Northwestern Calvert County, and East Central Prince George's County until 8:15. At 7:44, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Marlton or near Upper Marlboro, moving northeast at 25. So this is it. This is our storm. It's rather concerning right now because it does have a couplet that's a little bit more favorable in terms of trying to get a tornado to spin up. This thing was really strong over Rosaryville. I wouldn't be surprised if we have damage reports come out there Speaking of which, let me just look to see if we have any reports out of the state so far. Um, Garrett County, we had some wind damage earlier. That was not too long ago actually. It was
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
and we're getting a bunch of updates here. So if you hear notifications, just know we got a bunch of stuff going on. We had some winds that were very strong in Garrett County earlier this afternoon. Um, we had trees down in McHenry. We had trees down in Oakland from some of these thunderstorms I went through earlier. So, needless to say, these have meant business in terms of damaging winds. And this has been a rather strong system that's making its way through. Let me do this real quick. We're going to get down into St. Mary's County because we got a storm here in Essex and Richmond counties that is rather concerning with a tornado warning tag. Wakefield, Sterling. I'm going to look at the rotation. It is there. It is upper levels, but it's there. And if this were to somehow spin up, I mean, Point Lookout, Piney Point, Dameron, St. Inigo's, the Webster North base, getting into St. Mary City, we may have to deal with this. So I would be on the lookout for a potential tornado warning down the line as this starts to approach. Let me get the information on that. That would likely be the Wakefield office. By the way, that goes until 8:15. Radar indicated. Or actually, Richmond and Essex County, for Richmond and Westmoreland County, forget me. Richmond and Westmoreland County. I kind of got my Virginia geography a little bit thrown off there. But this is in, I believe now, Westmoreland County. This particular thunderstorm. So, man. And we're seeing that from a good ways away. That's concerning. Just to also note, while I have a chance, we do have a tornado watch that's in place. That will go. I think I have the warnings on. Do I have a watch on? Yes, I do now. And severe thunderstorm watch is on. All right, just so you know, there's a tornado watch in place for the entire state, and that will go until midnight tonight. So we do have several more hours at least of the activity that we have to be concerned about tornadoes and tornadic spin-ups, at least to about, let's say, 9 or 10. Because usually how the SPC tries to manage this, and let me bring my camera down just a little bit so you can see me a little better.
A new radar indicated tornado
As we got a new tornado warning. A new warning has been issued for northern St. Mary, southern Charles. We'll get that in a second. Usually how the Weather Service manages this is the Storm Prediction Center issues these to give as much wiggle room in terms of the timing. So if it's a little bit earlier, a little bit later, there's that wiggle room there so we can get the word out. And a lot of times, more times than not actually, some of these counties get dropped from warnings fairly quickly as these storms progress. So some of you may already be done. Like Garrett County, most of Allegheny County, your tornado threat's starting to diminish. If you are, let's say, east of 81, you still got problems. East of the Potomac River, you still got problems. So that's the general situation of what we have right now. Let's get into Charles County. That is a rather strong thunderstorm near Belle Alton. Looking at our velocities here. Definitely some rotation near Faulkner. No debris yet, but this is our problem child right here on 301. That is heading towards the plains. That is heading towards Dentsville. Charlotte Hall, you are in this warning as well. Ridgeview, Bryantown. Eventually, this will head towards Eagle Harbor. Aquasco, Eagle Harbor area, extreme southeastern Prince George's County, and eventually Calvert County. But this is our rotation that is right now. Oh goodness, the Dahlgren Bridge might have had something. Let me see if I can still get that up from the Virginia side. Let me see if I can still get a view, because that might give us perspective, because it is just north of the Dahlgren Bridge. Just saw some lightning strikes there. Let me do something real quick. We're gonna go into, let's do our cams. Over here. Let's do. Let's do. Alright, there we go. Get to. Forgive me, I had to move some things around, but it should pop up now, and we will get into properties. Let's actually interact with this. Probably gonna get a really good view from one of these cameras. Down here. Let's try this one. Okay, so we got our rain-free base right here, and I'm gonna pull this up full for you, so you can see it a little bit better. But cut to this room. See, what we'll do is this. We're gonna go. Let's do a different source here. Actually, no. So I'll just do this. We'll cut back. So I enlarged this for you. You can see the rain-free base right now that is currently over here, right over the center, the top center of the screen. That is what we're watching. This rain-free base, this wall cloud that is developing. I don't see debris yet, still, but that is where we would be very concerned about potential tornado threat if this does come to fruition. We got a rain-free base, and then we got the rain ahead of the storm. So, and that's looking back across the bridge towards the Maryland side. So, I'm gonna get back to this, and we're gonna cut here, and I'm gonna do that. Pardon me, that. Okay, there we go. We got our stuff set up over here. Let me take you back to the view with me, and then we'll talk about this. So, clearing off our tools. So this is our storm just east of 301, heading towards Berkwood Estates, Deer Park, and Dentsville. Very close to Wycomico Ridge and the Zagaya Swamp. That has some rather decent rotation right now. And by the way, this one here up in southern PG County is starting to weaken a little bit, but we'll still monitor this. And that one in Baltimore County, that's rather broad. That's over the city of Columbia. So I'll pull up that camera here in a second. But let me do this real quick. Let's do it.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
My flash flood warning is out, and that's for, there it is, right over the same area as the tornado warning that we've had over PG County and Howard County. So we'll get to that momentarily. But I think this would be. Let's try this. Let's do display capture. Okay. All right. We're gonna just slightly adjust this. That way, if I want to put up more cameras, I can do that. Pardon me. Yeah, sometimes technology, it's great when it works. It's a pain when it doesn't. This is just great. Um, there's our screen capture. Where are you? There's our display capture. That's what it is. Existing. And they're here. Okay. And we'll cut to that. Okay. All right. Perfect. So this is where we are. This is our current situation. I could just pop up the cameras on top of this, just for that matter. So here's our storm right now that is near Iron Pot Landing near Wason's Corner. This is the more northern of the PG County, Southern Maryland circulations that we have right now. This is heading towards Lothian, Greenock, Harwood, some of those same locations that were impacted in, was it 20? I think it was 22. No, 21. It was 21 by that EF2 tornado. So it's taking a more eastern path than the one in 21, but right now, I tell you what, if you're in southern AA County, you need to be on very high alert and paying attention to this. So please, 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 please be careful with this particular storm. Harwood, Lothian, Greenock, Tracy's Landing, West River, Hunt Valley Estates, the Anne Arundel Manor. You need to be in a tornado shelter. Remember, lowest floor of a sturdy building, one that's fixed to a concrete slab or a foundation, the most interior portion of the building, an inside hallway, closet, bathroom. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you have a helmet, wear your helmet. Protect your head. Flying debris would be the main danger in this particular situation with tornadoes. And then, same thing for you in Bryantown and Charlotte Hall, especially right now in the Plains and in Dentsville. This rotation looking a little strong. Nothing yet in terms of the correlation coefficient, but man, that is probably the strongest rotation on the board as of right now. Not the most eye popping, but it is there. SRVs, they're there, but again, it hurts the eyes sometimes to look at that. I know it does kind of hurt the eyes, so that's what I'm sticking with base velocity for you. But if you are in Dentsville, you need to be heading to your shelter. How's this one down here in Westmoreland doing? That may get warned. We may get a warning for Piney Point, Point Lookout, Scotland, and Dameron, the far southern portions of St. Mary's County with this. So we'll have to watch that closely. And then we got our big line that's moving through the Potomac River Valley right now. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Hancock to Williamsport, getting up towards Hagerstown, down towards Sandy Hook, Brunswick, and you can see tornado warnings or tornado watches, I should say, just got dropped for Allegheny County, Garrett County, with the West Virginia Panhandle, the 81 corridor. So you can see as these storms move through, your severe thunderstorm and tornado risk is going to go down. But still, Sandy Hook, Brunswick, down to Point of Rocks, and then down towards near Potomac. We have 60-mile-per-hour winds with this thunderstorm, and there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that does include pretty much all of Frederick County, except for the far southern portions, are banned out to Newmarket and Monrovia, and there it is.
This
The,
tornado warning
the
has been
updated tornado warning. But there's our severe thunderstorm warning. Includes the city of Frederick, includes the city of Hagerstown, a good chunk of Washington County as well. That will go until 8:30 that has 60-mile-per-hour winds tagged with it. So let me just get the latest bulletin. That should be coming out now. The National Weather Service in Sterling has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Washington County, Frederick County, North Central Loudoun,
New information. This tornado warning has
Northeastern
been updated.
Jefferson, Northeastern Morgan County, Northeastern Berkeley County, and those are some of those Loudoun, Jefferson,
New
Morgan,
severe
Berkeley,
thunderstorm
Virginia, and
warning
West
has been
Virginia.
issued.
As you can see there's that new bulletin that just popped up. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds. At 8:01, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 9 miles west of Williamsport to near Shepherdstown to near Brunswick, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Locations impacted include Municipal Stadium, Johnsontown, Brownsville, Dobbs, Berkeley, Ballinger Creek, Libertytown, Utica, Big Spring, Fairplay, Bridgeport, Keysville, Thurmont, Robinwood, Petersville, Sanmar, Pleasantville, Falling Waters, Emmitsburg, and Williamsport. Well, did this? Yeah. Oh, that's just okay. So they do have a tornado possible tag with this as well. So they're in the bulletin. They just said look out for possible tornadoes along this line as well. I don't see anything right now in terms of a QLCS spin up. At least that would be overly concerning for right now. The closest area would be right over Harper's Ferry. And I'm gonna do the velocity. It is right on the east end of Harper's Ferry right now near Weaverton. So if we have a rotation that may in the future produce something, it is right now smack dab over downtown Harper's Ferry, heading towards Weaverton and Knoxville across the river. And there is the new scan. It is moved along the Jefferson Pike right now. So if you're in Weaverton, if you're in Sandy Hook, this rotation is right overhead. This is heading towards Weaverton Road. This is heading towards Valley Road right now. Pine Hill Estates, Roll Keys Knoll, Knoxville, getting towards New Addition, and eventually the north side of Brunswick with this particular storm. We have to look out for this. So be mindful, Frederick County. We got this storm that's moving into Washington that's a little bit dicey. Now, that might take more of a northeast. That might be more of a Burkittsville, Wayne's Way type of deal with this particular storm. But nonetheless, if you are in these areas, you want to be on very high alert.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
New severe thunderstorm warning, Anne Arundel, Prince George's counties. Let me just do something real quick. We're going to do... If we can do this real quick. Where are you? I think I can actually. But that's our warning. That's our situation with this line. We do have our tornado warnings back down south, and we got a slew. Let's go back from north to south. We got this one here in Howard County. Again, I'm really starting to think that this one is either cycling or it's about to die out, and it just died out. This is becoming more of a straight line wind threat if we do have anything for the South Metro into the city. This is the reason why the Orioles moved up their game this afternoon. So they could get it in from 4 o'clock. They just ended it not too long ago. They won, by the way, thank goodness. But now we got these storms that are moving into the city right now that may produce 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. Also, we have a special marine warning for this thunderstorm that's getting ready to cross the Chesapeake Bay once it gets out of Anne Arundel County. And we got severe thunderstorm warnings across the Annapolis area. This is the one that just came off the bulletin on the screen ticker here. So this is going to include eastern Anne Arundel County, western PG, or actually central and southern Anne Arundel County. Forgive me, it's been a day. And eastern Prince George's County. That will go until 8:30 for this particular complex, and that's for 1-inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds. So for those in greater Annapolis, you want to be on the lookout and probably getting indoors right now if you are out and about in the capital city. Further to the south is our rotation near Waston's Corner, near Bristol. That is still tornado warned. That is still radar indicated for right now. Pardon me. Nothing on the correlation coefficient, but still, this storm means business. So if you're in Greenlock, if you're in Lothian, if you're in Harwood, you need to start getting down to your shelters if you have not already. This may spin up at any time. And the most southern right now of all rotations that are tornado warned is this one that just got through Dentville. No correlation coefficient signature on this one, but still have rotation that is in Dentville on the northeast side right now, heading towards Grosstown and Serenity Woods, Carrico Mill Estates, and Kindy Hook. That's eventually going to head towards Hughesville. This may miss, and I'm going to say this carefully with a grain of salt, this may miss Charlotte Hall to the north. But right now in Charlotte Hall, you have to be worried about this particular complex as it's starting to move towards you. And I thought they dropped it for a second. That was just the animation lagging behind. So this tornado warning is still in place right now. That goes until 8:15. Whether they extend it or not, we will see. I'm actually going to look at something here with the Weather Service bulletins. The tornado warning for northwestern Calvert has been canceled. Okay. So that's the one up here. Seeing if they're going to drop. They already dropped that on the warning in the metro. That's good. So we're down to 2 active tornado warnings right now. Could be 3 actually, if depending on what this next one does near Narrow Beach right now. So we'll have to watch this. If you're in southern St. Mary's County, that's the one that I've been talking about for the last little bit that may be problematic. So I have to watch that very closely for any tornadic development that does occur and moves into St. Mary's County. Any cameras down that way, by the way? Let me just do this. The closest one is Leonardtown. Oh, well, Great Mills, but it's a little far. It's a little far. Southeast Lexington Park. Great Mills. Alright, so, man, let me check that Great Mills camera. I don't think we're gonna get anything from Great Mills. Nah, we're not getting anything from Great Mills. So we really don't have any cameras in this portion of the state that we can look at least for right now. So we won't get too much ground truth, at least for the time being, once this storm gets into southern St. Mary's County. These are not the most populated areas, but there's still people that live here. Notably St. Mary's City. It's not too far away. So we have to watch this very closely. It's right here. There's St. Mary's City. So for those in St. Mary's City, we have to watch this closely. And we don't have any updates on any warnings right now, which is good news. But we're kind of in the standstill after a deluge of warnings for the last 15 to 25 minutes. That line's solidifying. That line is definitely solidifying. This is moving into Hagerstown right now. Let me do something real quick. I'm actually gonna pull up the traffic cam on top of the call tower, the 911 tower in Hagerstown. Is this it? 70 to 81. Or is this, no, it's right here. 70 west of there we go. Picture in picture. There it is. I'll load this up. This is in Hagerstown right now. I'll show you where this camera is, just for reference. Where we are looking right now is, ooh, it's a big lightning. Right about here. And that's where our camera is located. And that's looking back down 70 towards Williamsport, if my memory serves me correct. So we're looking into a bunch of rain right now that's moving through the city of Hagerstown at this very moment. and that could be downpours. That will really slow down traffic for a little bit here across the city of Hagerstown. If you're driving right now, you really need to consider stopping at some point down the line here if you're driving 70, because this is going to be a downpour, a deluge. It will take visibility way down, and it will be very, very dangerous conditions for you to even try to drive in. So 70 from Hagerstown to Frederick, you're really going to have a big problem with this if this does continue to develop. We're watching these storms. We got a new storm popping up here east of Towson, and then we got some more development here across the Northwest Metro. This might solidify into another line, so we might just get this whole thing at some point is going to congeal. The question becomes when. That's the one thing about this situation that is rather concerning, but also at the same time something that we knew could happen as well. At some point down the line, when is this going to congeal is the biggest question. And we're going to find out here not too long. We're already seeing storms starting to pop up with this back line down into portions of Arlington County, down into, actually not Arlington, forgive me. Arlington's this little border. So that's Fairfax County into Prince William, getting down close to Stafford County as well. We're already seeing this back building to the south. So that back line is starting to congeal. When is it going to catch up with the rest of this that's ongoing? These more cellular thunderstorms in nature. And goodness, that Hagerstown camera, it is blanked out. You cannot see anything right now because of how much rain is actually falling with this thunderstorm. We may have some hail right now in Williamsport. The warning did not say severe hail, but we may have a little bit of hail right now ongoing in Williamsport with this. And we might have a little bit of rotation, but fairly weak for right now. So there is that. Did our tornado warnings get dropped? Because the banner just changed colors. Are our tornado warnings going to get dropped here? Which I would hope to be the case. Apparently, also, we had a funnel cloud near Glenmont earlier. Talk about that. That was at 6:50. Be 6:55, right? Yeah, we had a funnel cloud report at 6:55. This was in Montgomery County near Glenmont. We had this off of social media apparently as well. And then we have reports of flash flooding near Simpsonville as of the top of the hour. 6 inches of water, flowing water over Guilford Road there near Simpsonville. So, man, it's been an interesting night. Let me just do this real quick. St. Mary's, East Central Charles counties, that's getting dropped. So, I'm just going to do this real quick. Can I do this? That's dropped. And then hopefully this one is dropped. South Central Anne Arundel, East Central Prince George's County. That one's weakened. Okay. So these are going to be dropped. And we're down to no tornado warnings.
Flood warning has been issued.
And a new flash flood warning that includes the city of Baltimore just got issued. So good news on those fronts. We got 2 tornado warnings that weakened below the limits, and those are going to get dropped pretty much right now. So those should come off the system, and there they go. So we're down to no tornado warnings as of this moment, which is very, very good news. Although we do have to watch this one in St. Mary's. They may just issue a warning for that. We'll have to wait and see. But right now on the board, it's just all severe thunderstorm warnings. So let me just take off this tornado watch so you don't get thrown off. Hang on. Now I know why it's trying to lag a little bit. All right, hopefully this works. Come on. sometimes when my computer battery gets low, we have to go into power saving. So that's why our FPS and our performance is kind of low. I'm using a Surface, by the way. Full transparency. I'm using a Microsoft Surface. Please. Let me just do this real quick. Close some of these tabs. Try and get frames back. There we go. We sometimes if the computer goes into power saving mode, it takes a minute for it to kind of reset everything. So let's just get this off. Thank goodness we got that done. Whew. Hopefully my computer doesn't overheat on me. I got the fan going, so if you hear that in the background, that's why. Let's do this. Here's the big board. We have our severe thunderstorm warning in the capital city. Got a severe thunderstorm warning in Frederick County and Washington County with this. That is producing the downpours. New flash flood warning that does include Baltimore City. Western Baltimore City does include Clip the Pikesville area, the Western Beltway, Catonsville, Woodlawn, Ellicott City, Arbutus, Lansdowne, the Highlands, down to Elkridge, Relay, near Hanover, and the airport, Harmons. Arundel Mills, I think, might be included in this one. It might just be just to the north of Arundel Mills. It wouldn't be by a whole lot. It's right, I think, it's right here by Dorsey Mills, so it's just missed Arundel Mills. So, there it is. And that is for expected rainfall to be 1 to 2 inches per hour. And that will go until maybe until midnight. Let me just verify that. Flash flood warning. That goes until 11. So we do have this flash flood warning until 11 o'clock for this storm that's moving through the city. So any small creeks, streams, low-lying areas, the Patapsco's a vulnerable one. I know Ellicott City, sometimes we could be a little bit on edge because of what happened in 16 and 17, and what happened in those years were horrific, but I don't think it's that type of setup. Nowhere close. If we do have any flooding, it's going to be relatively minor in nature. It's going to be east of Ellicott City if we do get that. But flash flooding will be a concern through the city through at least 11 o'clock. So there is that. I don't think there's too much other than what we got going on. They're not going to extend this tornado warning, I don't believe. I hope I'm not jinxed on that, but we'll wait and see. We got some more storms. So we got a line that's starting to form, basically. This line is going to essentially play itself just along and east of the Potomac River. So there it is. There's your line. That's what's starting to congeal right now along the 270 corridor down the Potomac. That's what's setting up right now. So for those in the path, I mean, you're going to get storms. So just watch out as we head throughout the next little bit with this particular complex. And that, even though we got storms in Baltimore right now, that's just going to pick up as we head throughout the evening with this secondary line that's going to move through a little bit later. So I'm going to keep tabs on that. Let me just verify anything before. Well, we could have some damaging winds here in Hagerstown and Frederick. I don't really doubt that, but also, you never know. Pardon me, I'm sorry. And we got some storms. I wouldn't be surprised if the Weather Service tries to issue another warning for this rotation. That is heading for the city of Annapolis, so I'm gonna hold off a little bit. But we do have a storm here, just east of Highway 2. That's heavily embedded in rain, by the way, over around Harwood. That is very, very enshrouded in rain, but it's there. And if this does continue to develop, that could be a big problem. That could go pretty much along the path of 21. That could be a 2021 path if that does continue. Because if you remember, the tornado started out around Harwood Estates, went up towards Birdsville, went up into Edgewater, and then kind of split the difference between downtown Annapolis and downtown Parole. So if we do get something, it might follow pretty close to that 21 path. It went along Highway 2 essentially into Edgewater and then into Annapolis Parole. So Annapolis Parole, not saying you're going to get a tornado, but keep tabs on this one, because the way this is starting to try to rotate again, rather broad right now. But we got strong wind fields, and that could easily tighten up again, and that could easily become a problem. So please be mindful of that. Wind right here. No severe thunderstorm warnings for Montgomery County with this line right now. Although that may change, so we'll have to keep tabs. City of Baltimore, we got some stuff going on. So that's the current state of affairs right now in the last, 45 minutes that we have been on. Here's the deal. I'm going to go and reset a little bit. If there's any new tornado warnings, I'll be right back on and we'll hop right back into coverage again. But right now, we just have severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place. Washington County, Frederick County for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, you got severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag. We have a rotation that is trying to flare up, but we will wait and see what the Weather Service does on that. And might hold off. I actually might hold off because I have a feeling. The Weather Service is probably going to try to issue something here, considering that it's flaring up, one, and number two, it's heading into a high population center. But we will wait and see. That is moving northeast at 30. About what, 5 to 10 miles south and east, so they'll be there in 5 to 10 minutes. So it's going to be interesting. We do get something to pop up out of this, but there's our severe thunderstorm warning right now that's in place. Okay, so we'll hold off simply because that storm could be very interesting. We do have special marine warnings in place simply because of this storm. So if anybody's out on the water right now between, let's say, the Patapsco and getting down towards the Eastern Bay, that they're going to run into a problem. The Bay Bridge, I'd be curious what the Bay Bridge Airport picks up. It's right across from Stevensville, right here. I'll draw it. But that will be very intriguing to see if we can get anything in terms of wind observations from there. I'm going to try to pull up a camera. The one problem that we're going to run into is this. It is heavily, and I mean heavily, shrouded in rain. It's going to be very challenging to see this rotation. It's trying to tighten up again near Birdsville. And we got some serious flash flooding ongoing in West Virginia right now. And the warning just got updated for Frederick and Washington as well. But we have some really serious flood issues in West Virginia apparently. So, man. Considerable tag with this flash flood warning right now near Mannington and Fairmont, west of Morgantown. If you know anybody that way, they might be dealing with some serious flooding. So check in on them, please. Our rotation's tightening up a little bit. Let me see if I can go into our traffic cams. Try to get a couple views. We're gonna look from Stevensville. Also, another problem that we're getting into. Another problem that we're really starting to get into is we are getting into heavy rain, and also it sunsets upon us. Whoa! We had some lightning on that camera that I just saw. Um, Man, lightning's another threat with these storms tonight. They're they're not the most electrical, but when they do strike, it can be potent. So be mindful of that. Um, this is the view from the Bay Bridge, and that's looking. Let's look it back towards Stevensville. Try to find one that's not looking. What is this one? Eastbound. Eastbound. Alright, that's the east. Oh, the traffic is eastbound, so we're looking. Okay. I get it. We're gonna go back. Some of these cameras might have just got knocked out. That's interesting. But that's a view right now in on in Stevensville, or just near Stevensville on the Bay Bridge right now. That's a lightning that's striking around. So again, it's dangerous. You got bridge, you got metal, you got water. It all attracts lightning. So there is that. But that's a view. With eastbound traffic right now across the Bay Bridge. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's do this view right here, and I'm gonna show you the problem. See how there's literally no contrast, so you can't see anything past the bridges. It's just completely gray, and they're dropping the severe thunderstorm warning, I think, for both of these storms, based on the color of the ticker switching to green once again. PG County, that's going to expire, and they run. Oh, that's good news. And then also, I'll assume the Hagerstown storm. Yeah, that one. So those are expiring. That's good news. So we have no severe warnings on the board right now. We just strictly have flash flood warnings that are in place right now, and special marine warnings, which is very good news. Once we get to 8:30 here in about 15 seconds, or maybe a little bit more, depending on the lag or the internet delay that you have on the YouTube stream. But see the problem here? We got no contrast. If we were to try to find any rotation or circulation within here, you would not be able to find it. It is obscured in a lot of rain. There's a lot of lightning. That's why I don't want you trying to go out and trying to find this. Because simply put, if we have something that's trying to pop up here south of Annapolis, unless you're right in it and the rotation's overhead, you won't be able to see this. So I cannot emphasize enough, if you are curious about trying to see what this storm is doing, sightseeing, that's the last thing you should be doing right now with these thunderstorms that are moving through, especially this one in Anne Arundel County and then the one up in Washington, because even if they're below severe limits, we got a lot of rain, a lot of lightning. Those are going to pose problems. And we do have the same thing here in Metro Baltimore right now. I'm looking outside my window here in the Metro, and it is raining fairly heavily. So we do have that ongoing. That's over the city. That's over the western side of the Beltway, or just inside the western portions of the Beltway right now. That is in Woodlawn. That is in Arbutus. That is in Catonsville right now. That is right over CCBC, UMBC, Charlestown Senior Living, the Wilkins Shopping Center, right down Wilkins into St. Agnes, and then into the city itself, downtown, Sandtown, Winchester, the zoo, right by the TV Hill, where they got 11, 13, and 45 all based over there. So that's where it is right now, right up at the Park Heights, Pimlico, and then that's up, moving up towards Towson, Parkville, and eventually Kearney and Oakley within the near future. So that's one that we have to watch out for, and that's why we got flash flood warnings in place. And there's a big board. Nothing right now in terms of severe warnings, just flash flood warnings, and we're transitioning towards straight line winds and the flood threat throughout the rest of the evening. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off for now. If there are any new warnings, tornado warnings in particular, I will be back on, or if there's a severe thunderstorm warning that somehow has 70, 80 mile per hour winds and poses a greater threat to life or property, I will be back on. Other than that, be safe, be weather aware, try to stay dry this evening. I'm Jay Mitchell for Now WX.